All right, so today we're going to dive into something pretty wild, a cookbook written by an inmate. It's called Jail Junk, and trust me, the story behind it is just as fascinating as that title sounds.
Just listen to this quote. "It was horrible. It's awful." Wow. That's from a woman named Raylene Belanger, and she's talking about the food she had to eat for 7 months at the Calgary Remand Center. And really, that one quote, that's where this whole story kicks off.
So think about it. The food is so bad, what do? Well, Raylene didn't just, put up with it. She did something completely unexpected. She decided to write a cookbook using only what she had available.
So, let's get into it. What exactly was so bad about the food there? I mean, what pushes someone to write a cookbook in jail? Well, it turns out her options were pretty grim. Okay, so you basically had two choices. You could get the standard cafeteria tray, which we already know she thought was terrible, or you could buy stuff from the canteen. But we're talking packaged food, things like candy and instant noodles. Not exactly a balanced diet.
And get this, even the stuff she was buying herself from the canteen, she says she just couldn't eat it after a while. So she's hit a wall, right? A total dead end. But that's often exactly when the most creative ideas spark to life.
And that's precisely what happened here. She started to look at all those canteen items differently. Not just as snacks, but as ingredients. Like the basic building blocks for making real meals.
And she didn't just write down recipes, she had fun with it. The names are just fantastic. I mean, come on, Bail Burrito, Convict Coffee, it's brilliant. It's this small way of reclaiming some personality, some humor, in a place that's designed to take all of that away from you.
Okay, so you've got your ingredients, you've got your ideas, but wait a minute, how do you actually cook anything? It's not like inmates have kitchens, right? No pots, no pans, nothing. Well, this is where the story gets really, really clever.
Seriously, the resourcefulness here is just off the charts. You know those empty instant noodle bowls? Those became mixing bowls. Empty chip bags? You use those to mix everything up, and then they become your serving platter. She was literally turning trash into treasure, building a kitchen from absolutely nothing.
So let's look at one recipe, the fruity fraud salad. This wasn't something you could just whip up in 5 minutes. It took planning and it took teamwork. 2 inmates would have to save up their fruit ration for a whole week. Then they'd cut it all up and mix it with stuff they bought from the canteen, like yogurt and juice crystals. It was a real project.
And you can just hear the pride in her voice when she talks about it. After a whole week of saving and working together, what they got wasn't just a salad. It was a victory, something fresh, something they made themselves. It's about so much more than food. It's about dignity.
But here's where it gets even more interesting. This whole project, it didn't just stop with food. It kind of grew into something bigger, something more like a whole survival guide for maintaining your health, your hygiene, your sense of self, really.
I mean, the cookbook actually has recipes for stuff like DIY mascara. And get this, there's even a guide on how to make disposable shower sandals from menstrual pads to avoid getting foot fungus. So you see, Jail Junk was never just about food. It was about survival in every sense of the word.
And the story doesn't even stop there. After Raylene was released, her little handwritten book of recipes got noticed by a local organization, and that's when her personal project started to become something much, much bigger.
So this group, the Elizabeth Fry Society of Calgary, they help women who are involved with the justice system. They saw what Raylene had made and realized how powerful it was. So they actually paid to get it published. Jail Junk became a real physical book you can buy for $15. And this is the best part. It's not just about making money. It's actually a social enterprise. For every book sold, half the money, a full 50%, goes right back to the Elizabeth Fry Society to help other women in that exact same facility. Then 40% goes to Raylene, the author, and the last 10% just covers the printing costs. It's an amazing cycle.
So when you look at the whole picture, this isn't really a story about making weird food out of junk. It's a story about human resilience, right? It's about finding a way to have some control when you feel completely powerless. It's about that basic human need to create something no matter where you are.
And that really leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? This whole cookbook is proof of what people can do under the most extreme pressure. It really makes you wonder, when you take everything away, all the tools and resources we take for granted, what are we actually capable of?